Beware, I live.
Welcome to the new RiverCityGamers Podcast, hosted by SCXCR and Well Unreal 007, as well as many other members from the RiverCityGamers website. Stay tuned for all the gaming news, new pickups, and everything else we feel like talking about on the RiverCityGamers Podcast.
This is the most exciting podcast intro we've ever done.
God damn it, hold on. God damn it, now I'm actually yawning.
Oh, fuck. This is what happens when I wake up more than my oversleep.
Oh, yawning was a bad choice.
Indeed it was.
Do you know what else is a bad choice?
Milk?
Not
Gaming
starting
news?
with gaming news.
In the morning when I wake up, there's a halo hanging from the corner of my gaming news.
We can't all segue gaming news.
Yes, we can.
No, we
Shut
can't.
the door, baby.
I'll
Don't
just layer 4 different gaming news things on top of each other.
But shut the door, babe. Don't say a word. Every morning when I wake up in the morning.
This is
and
the
I
worst
wake up
podcast
in the
ever.
morning.
I told you before we started, this was going to be fucking terrible.
Yep. I might as well just go all the way up making this really
Oh,
bad.
goddammit, hold on.
Oh, good.
I'm just gonna deafen Discord, hold on.
Every morning there's a morning in the halo in the morning.
God, you guys are making me want to go to sleep right now.
I just woke up an hour or so ago just to watch stupid Power Rangers. Whoops.
I've been up since like fucking 11, but I had, or not 11, like just before 11, like 10:30, I guess.
I had
I'd drive my
leftover
folks
pizza
to
for
a parade.
breakfast.
I just drive my folks to a parade.
And you weren't invited.
I just didn't want to go. So are we gonna do gaming news or what?
Well, yeah.
I gotta put another layer of gaming news on because you said that. Gaming news is going to start on a bit of a somber note and then hopefully not be as shitty.
Okay.
Because first item on the agenda is Toys R Us.
Yeah.
For those of you
I
who
hate
don't
everything.
know, Toys R Us is closing all of its US stores and some of its stores in other countries.
It's
Wasn't
a sad
it-
day for Power
Wasn't it
Rangers
confirmed
fans.
that it was also closing all it, like specifically UK as well, all of that and
Yep,
US?
UK's going away.
Well, no, UK's staying, but not the Toys R Us stores.
Right.
Yeah, the entire UK is shutting down.
Toys R Us shuts down and the UK sinks with it.
Thanks, Brexit.
Oh, god damn it.
This is sad because of two things. One, Toys R Us had a lot of exclusives over the years. They still do, even with them closing. And two, Toys R Us used to be a place, I mean, it still is, and it will be until it closes probably, but it used to be a place where a lot of like gaming stuff was first available. Like one of the main stores that was behind for example, the ESRB was Toys R Us. I don't know. I'm going to miss Toys R Us because there's just something about going in there that you can't replicate with any other store, even though they have toy sections.
Yeah, like I dragged you guys to like my Toys R Us, and that was something. But unfortunately, like as a kid, there wasn't a Toys R Us within like super close distance. Like yeah, there's the one like that's a few towns away, but that's like a drive, and like usually wasn't super worth it. Because as a kid, we had a different local toy store there that has been long since gone, and like unfortunately because of that, I don't have a big Toys R Us attachment outside of like the past few years where I went there to get Power Rangers stuff, because other stores sure as hell didn't have the ones I wanted in stock.
Yeah.
all I can say is that this is just really, really depressing because, like everyone in this podcast, as a kid, going into there was something special because you get to see all those toys and everything. This is something fantasy wishing, but I kind of wish I could become a kid again, just to at least go to a Toys R Us one more time and just have fun, just looking at all the toys, action figures,
and cause your parents to bleed money because you wouldn't stop complaining.
I remember specifically with Toys R Us when there was a time when every year during March break, which would be around this time, my family would go to this place called Stage West. It was a hotel in Toronto, and they have like stage shows and stuff too. And then the things that I remember most about it is one of the days when my mom wanted to go shopping at the mall, we would go across the street and go to Sega City, or now Palladium, and spend hours there, me, my dad, and my brother. And then on the ride home, we always stopped at Toys R Us, and we always got one thing at least. We were allowed to get one thing. That was one of the highlights of the trip, because keep in mind, like, I don't have a Toys R Us in my town. The closest one is about 45 minutes to an hour away, and it's on the 401 on the way back from Toronto. So it was a thing. Like, it was a thing that we did. We would get one thing from Toys R Us because it was on the way back, and so it's kind of special to me because it wasn't a store I went to all the time because I didn't have access to one. I distinctly remember the one thing that I remember the most was the Star Wars figure set I got. It's just a set of rubber figures, but I still have them. I was just happy to get like a Chewbacca and a Luke Skywalker and a C-3PO and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, all those in the same set. So I'm going to miss Toys R Us because it was special, not just for toys, but for gaming as well.
I do want to say, though, that this may sound like rude, but I feel like Toys R Us has no one to blame but themselves for this bankruptcy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But let's not be around the bush. The prices haven't been the best. Like, they're usually more expensive than other places. Like,
yeah.
I think even in the case of, well, I'm not sure if Amiibos were even the case. It almost feels like it.
Yeah, well, I remember...
but, like, in general, like, other toys, like, I compared, say, Target to Toys R Us in terms of, like, looking at Power Rangers toys. Toys R Us had more to choose from, but their prices were always at least $1 or $2 more compared to other places. And it's like, why? Because you're the dedicated toy store? No. Like, no one's gonna go to the dedicated toy store if your prices are higher than another place that has the same toy for cheaper.
That's the extra price you pay for not growing up.
Yeah, they were forever a Toys R Us kid, but then they forgot that sometimes growing up is the most important part of breakfast. I don't know where that came from, but this is what happens when I wake up an hour before the podcast.
Okay, that confusing allegory aside.
Hold on, there's one thing I want to say before you finish that. There is, if you guys want to know more about what's going on with Toys R Us, like how we got to this point, there's a video I recommend. There's a guy I watch called Company Man, and he did a video 5 months ago called The Decline of Toys R Us, What Happened. That's a video I recommend watching to get more of a background of why it's at where it is now. Like, when he made that video, they were in a better spot than they were now. They were at least just doing like, no, whatever bankruptcy it is, not the Chapter 11, I think is the one where you still exist as a company, but you have to sell off assets and stuff. But they were at that level. Now they're just done. So I recommend that video if you guys haven't seen it. Also, just shout out in general to the Company Man. I never thought listening to videos about business would be so interesting.
I just looked it up, and there's another video that's almost blaming Star Wars as well.
All right.
Mainly because it's like, well, Toys R Us is going out of business, and Star Wars is partially to blame because they can't sell Star Wars toys. So I don't know if that's like true, because like with like how big merchandising Star Wars is now more than ever because fucking stupid Disney is under it.
But we're getting a little off topic there talking about Star Wars. I'm sorry, Scott, continue.
So more so than video games, more so than just toys, like 90% of the stuff I had as a kid was from Toys R Us. I got video games there, I got toys there, and when I was playing Little League Sports, I would get most of my equipment from there. And that's where the NES, which I still have, came from. That's where the SNES, which I still have, came from. The Genesis I still have. That's where the bulk of my original games came from, boxes and all.
Oh, that's a lot of my original PlayStation games I got from them.
Yeah, and I have some distinct memories, in particular about the toys aisle in Toys R Us, or specifically the video game aisle, sorry. For those of you who have never been in a Toys R Us, the video game aisle was a little unique for Toys R Us, because they didn't have like the games on the shelf and then you take them to the counter and pay for them. They would have these slips that you would take out underneath pictures of every game, and then you take them to a designated area, trade them in for the game, and pay for it there. And I remember one time where I was in that video game aisle, just seeing this kid walking through the aisle with like 5 of these slips in his hand, and I'm going, you motherfucker. I hate your parents, but I want your parents. But that was around the time that, like, my parents would not usually buy us games unless it was like our birthday or a big holiday like Christmas or something. And we had an allowance of like $1 or $2 a week. And in my area, most of these games cost like $60, $70. So what we'd have to do is either just keep saving up for a couple of months to hopefully afford something, or just save up for a little bit, and then we'd split our allowance on one game. And that is particularly, it took some convincing to get my brother to do this, but I convinced him to get Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Needless to say, I was right. Yeah, I saved up for like 3 or 4 months to get Secret of Mana. I did that again for Super Metroid. Like, I didn't have a ton of video games for any particular system growing up, so I tried to get the most mileage I could out of whatever I did, because it would take me so long to be able to afford them each time. Until Christmas came around and I just asked for like half a dozen of them. But anyway, that's not to say I was right about every game, because I did buy Death Valley Rally, but most of the memories are good. And geez, toy-wise, I think I got everything from there except for when I went to like Dollar Tree and got the generic army guys. I remember getting a bunch of Crash Dummies toys in particular, loading them all up in the crash cart, and then throwing them down a flight of 13 steps. Repeatedly. And you know what? Those toys were pretty well made, because the car did not break until 3 months later.
I just have like one concern with Toys R Us in general. Like all the exclusives, what's gonna happen to them? Are they just gonna sync with them? Are those gonna be like super rare collectibles now? Because they may not be released elsewhere.
It depends on if they liquidate their stock or if that transitions over to another seller.
I was just looking up stuff. Like months ago, they were like in Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now they're in Chapter 7, so they're pretty much liquidating everything.
So if any of you have some shopping you need to do, find a Toys R Us.
Yeah, and just get what you can. I remember being so dedicated to collecting the Smash Amiibos, particularly the Fire Emblem ones, because I was really, really dedicated to getting the Robin and Lucina Amiibos. So I remember having to camp out there for hours upon hours just to get those 2 Amiibos, and I know that was kind of a bit ludicrous of me, and I haven't never done another camping trip like that ever again. Regardless of how ridiculous it was, it still felt special that I got those 2 Amiibos of 2 characters that I loved in Smash from a Toys R Us, and since the whole business and company is going down under, it just got me reflecting on that memory as well too.
I kind of wish I had a bit like Toys R Us had a bigger impact on me as a kid. Like as a kid, it was more like the Holy Grail I wasn't allowed to touch. It's just like, oh, look at that big toy store. We can't go in there. Why? I just had more personal experiences with local toy stores, which I still miss dearly. Got that specific one was called KB Toys, I believe.
KB Toys!
Yeah.
Dude, I had one of those near me.
Yeah. It was where currently the Halloween shop is located in my plaza.
That's where most of my family's board games came from.
It's where I bought Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, where I got Metroid Prime 2, and a couple of other games. That was way before GameStop was in this town, and I bought some good-ass stuff there. But that's nothing to do with Toys R Us, unfortunately. But very, very last thing, I actually looked up my location for, like, the Toys R Us closest to me. Apparently, this was posted a day ago. Apparently, this may change, but they said their store isn't closing down. And I'm just like, you got a storm coming.
Captain goes down with its ship, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll drive by there someday.
Maybe
like,
I'll.
Within like the next week, maybe. But I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the one near me, see what's going on there.
Also, another thing. Where are some alternative places to attend?
Order it online.
Pretty much Amazon.
Oh, I will end on this one last note. Thanks, Toys R Us, for the Lexabook console.
You had to make me remember that. Oh, God.
Yes, thanks for that. That's a gift for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks, Toys R Us, for feeding my Ranger Key addiction years ago. I'm only missing one pack. But, you know, it looks pretty nice set up. Look at it.
Thank you, Toys R Us, for the Fire Emblem Amiibos and my copy of The Last of Us that I used to get signed by Troy Baker.
Thanks, Toys R Us, for making me stand in line like the other Amiibo places during Wave 4 Nightmare Edition.
Well, it's funny you mention Amiibo, because Nintendo had a direct recently where they announced a bunch of games that are getting ported over, one of them being Dark Souls, and with it, a Dark Souls Amiibo.
Praise the sun!
Go back in time 5 years and tell yourself there would be a Dark Souls Amiibo and see how you react.
I just remember bursting out laughing when I saw that in the direct. I'm like, oh man, I want that. They picked the perfect. They knew which character to put on the Amiibo. It's like, well, if we're gonna do him, yes, him. No question, like unanimous vote, and they did it.
I mean, why not?
Still not as big as Detective Pikachu Amiibo.
And unsurprisingly, it's sold out immediately.
Yeah, it's exclusive to GameStop, and I actually asked my store. Apparently, they didn't have it up for in-store. Not because they were sold out, they just never went in sale on store. So either they will do in-store eventually, or it's GameStop online exclusive, which would suck harder than just regular GameStop exclusive.
The horrors of dealing with scalpers online.
Praise the scalp, I guess. But that wasn't the only thing from the Nintendo Direct. Like I said, there were a bunch of ports, some a little surprising, some not so much. Okami HD is getting ported. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is getting ported.
That's very, very surprising. Because I always thought Crash was a Sony thing.
Well, for the longest time it was.
Yeah, but then Activision bought the license and brought Crash games elsewhere. I mean, like, yeah, the first three games, you could pretty much say they were kind of synonymous with the PlayStation, but ever since the license went out of Sony's hands, well, there's really nothing stopping them.
So other than that from the Nintendo Direct, they did announce a couple of new games, or like new content for games, like in the case of Splatoon 2. They did show clips of No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again.
Yes!
This is just reminding me that I'm going to have to play through my copies of No More Heroes 1 and 2. I don't know why I haven't yet.
I need to find a copy of 2. I played the game. Oops. But like,
I remember you rented it.
yeah. But like, I have No More Heroes 1 now, but just no real copy of 2. But I've played both, so there you go.
And aside from that, Nintendo did its usual, oh, there's one more thing we want to show you. And then they proceeded to show a clip of a couple of, what are they, Inklings? Is that what they're called?
That was right after they showed all the Splatoon 2 stuff, by the way.
Yeah, so people were going, oh, is this just more Splatoon 2 shit? But then, all of a sudden, the area goes dark, one of the Inklings turns around, and Smash logo. So Smash is going to be on the Switch in some capacity.
I just love the edits of that image. Like, somebody put bites the dust, or Killer Queen's bites the dust in the Eye of the Inkling, and I'm like, oh, don't press the button! We'll have to go back an hour.
Yeah, people have been putting Shrek shadows in those silhouettes.
There was a reaction compilation I saw, but it just like combined all of them at once, so it was just a loud wall of noise as soon as the Smash logo showed up in the squid's eye. That was a good way to start D&D that day.
Regardless, I'm glad we're getting a Smash game on Switch, even though it was predictable, but I can't wait.
Sakurai must be like, well, time for vacation. Yo, we need to make Smash again. And gets forcibly kidnapped by Nintendo.
So naturally, people have been discussing what kind of characters are going to be in it, aside from, like Mario, Link, Samus, the usual. And, of course, there's a group of people asking for Goku.
Including Funimation.
Including Funimation, who tweeted to Nintendo of America, hey Nintendo, when's our boy Goku going to join the fight?
I'm pretty sure there's more complications than just Funimation. Like, who else owns Dragon Ball, like, in general?
Toei.
Yeah, exactly. Not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be tough to get them on board, but it helps to have Funimation on board, because don't they control distribution for the Dragon Ball series in the West?
Yeah, I mean, if it's easy like that, then it might be possible, but
I'm just envisioning that Goku's final smash would be like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, and how ridiculous they could make that.
It's a smash that would take 2.5 hours to actually power up and deploy.
Well, not really, because Goku can apparently move faster than stopped time when he's in that form.
Then how are there so many goddamn episodes?
Listen, Goku only powers up that for 5 minutes.
What is 5 minutes to a person who moves that fast?
It's not like Dragon Ball Z, where they were stretching out the Frieza arc for where they were stretching out the 5 minutes thing for 3 weeks. That was them trying not to do any filler, but in the end ended up doing filler anyways.
Gotta love filler.
Maybe they think that the filler is the actual content.
It's just like One Piece right now. They're trying to stretch an entire episode over one chapter. One chapter of the One Piece manga is now a 24-minute episode. So yeah, just as an example. Toei's the master of making things too long.
Alright, I'm gonna do one last Nintendo thing, and then we're completely ditching that subject. And this has nothing to do with the Direct, and everything to do with extra shit for your console. Because Nintendo has some patents in the works for accessories for the Switch, because this is how they're planning to keep its life cycle going longer than projected. 2 in particular have already surfaced, one of them being a keyboard, fairly practical, and the other being Donkey Konga bongos.
What?
Oh boy, that's coming back.
Oh my god, I hope they release virtual console versions of all the Donkey Konga games.
I hope they do it with the Japanese playlist, because the North American ones were garbage.
well, you saw the one for you read out the one for Donkey Konga 2 to me specifically.
That was terrible.
Yeah, and I could already tell Donkey Konga 1's was stronger. And then Japan only got the third one, so we don't even know what the hell was that.
Well, the good news is, from the drawings, it looks like everything's wireless. So, there's that.
I mean, accessories are nice, but we want to know what's going on with like service and games.
Well, I can't tell you anything about that. But I can tell you, Sega's teasing another goddamn racing game.
To be fair, they're not bad, so yeah, I guess.
This one doesn't look like it'll be Sonic Racing transformed or that type of game, and that's mainly because they teased the R from the Sonic R logo. So this could be this could be entirely different or a completely different take on Sonic R.
Guys,
give them actual go-karts again.
Guys, the real question is, can you feel the sunshine, and does it brighten up your day?
We don't know. The logo was pitch black outside of the R.
Where you can clearly make out like an A and a C and the ING for racing.
It's probably Shenmue Racing, and it's just a
Supersonic Racing. Sorry.
Only time will tell.
Could this be more Sonic All-Stars Racing in which the All-Stars don't get their actual games but are forced to race around in fucking carts and planes all the time? We don't know. Yes, I am bitter.
Meanwhile, we won't get any more adaptations of other Sega games, like another Jet Set Radio game. Unfortunately. For a very long time, I mean, unless I'm proven wrong.
They have fucking rollerblades on their feet and you're forcing them to use those to press a gas pedal.
It's depressing.
Well, let's go from depressing to not as depressing. And this will be the note I end on. Now, who here played Soul Calibur?
I've played 2 and 4.
Yeah, I mainly played 2.
I played 2. I never played the 3rd one. I played the 4th one, and I played a lot of the 5th one only because I love messing around in character customization.
I think my jumping off point for Soul Calibur was when I saw the Star Wars characters in it, and I said, nope, fuck off.
Well, that was 4. You jumped right off.
Dude, what the fuck?
Okay.
What are you saying, like 4 wasn't good because it had Star Wars characters?
No, I'm saying it was ridiculous because it had Star Wars characters.
That's cool, though.
To be fair, though,
was never
people
cool.
don't really like 4.
Yeah, and some
from
people
like
didn't really...
a multitude of reasons.
I will say 2's the best one, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Well, there's going to be a Soul Calibur 6, and you know who's going to be in it?
The dude from Witcher.
Fucking Geralt's in it.
Did he show up in a bathtub?
Unfortunately, no.
Then why even bother? Like, how come he can't be in the bathtub at the start of a match and then get out and be ready to fight?
Well, we only saw, like, one possible entrance. He might have others.
Yeah, we gotta ask PC Gamer on Twitter.
Maybe he'll ride in naked on a unicorn in one. We don't know. But I may actually give Soul Calibur 6 a shot. I need to see more of it, obviously, but I'm considering it.
I'll give it a fair shot. I mean...
Oh man, I just went to PC Gamer's Twitter and like they did bring up that Geralt was confirmed for Soul Calibur 6 and they still used the bathtub picture.
Of course.
I just still find it funny that there's an actual like figurine of him in the bathtub and PC Gamer's like they made it for some reason and people were like, we damn know why they did it.
So about Soul Calibur 6, another thing I'm really curious about is like I wonder how is it going to be in comparison to the character customizations from 4, 5, and 5.
4, 5, and 5.
Oh, sorry, I stumbled. So I'm just want to see if it's going to be better or is it going to be, or are they going to have like less options, more options? That's what I'm curious about. It's like, ooh, how, are they going to like enhance it? Or not, and
I just hope they bring in the build-up mode. Was that in all the games, or was it just in 2? Because I didn't play a ton of 4, but other than Versus.
Build-up mode?
What do they call it in?
Is it Weapon Master mode?
Weapon Master mode, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the best.
Yeah,
even the really frustrating parts.
I mean, there's also things to consider, like is there gonna be any special modes like what you just mentioned, or are they gonna try to take another shot at story mode? Which one thing I didn't like about Soul Calibur 5 was its pretty shitty story mode. It was pretty forgettable.
Actually, something you mentioned earlier about the character customization. once you decide that you have that in your game, you pretty much have to continually add stuff to it with each installment, or you're gonna get shit on for it.
That's what I'm concerned
Pretty much.
about.
Either way, shit, article doesn't say. Is there any release date or time frame for Soul Calibur 6?
I'd assume it'd be somewhere around 2018.
Initial release date, 2018. Helpful. That's it for gaming news, so let's just move on to what we've recently played. And who's gonna go first?
I don't know. You pick.
Why do I have to pick?
You're the fucking one who does the shit.
Alright, fine, I guess I'll pick. Zero, since you're the only other one who's not muted in the chat.
How did I know you'd pick me? Okay. Recently played. Well, Monster Hunter. That's a given. I did without going in too much of length, the demos I did for my WiiWare streams. There were some good, there were some bad, there were some I actually ended up buying. Like that Gladiator game.
Oh, Rise of the Gladiator?
Rise of the Gladiator, yeah. It's basically just Punch-Out, but with, like, weapons. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's in like sort of like an ancient Roman Colosseum thing, except you have mythical monsters in there too.
Exactly, yeah. Another one I want to shout out is Chronos Twins. It's a WiiWare game. It's a side-scroller action game, like a side-scroller platformer. But the thing that's interesting about it is you control two characters at once on two different planes, and you have to pay attention to both planes at both characters, and so that they don't die. Because if one of your characters dies, that's a life lost. So you have to play both characters at the same time and make sure they don't die. It's really interesting and really fun. So if this podcast happens to go up before they close down the ability to add points to the Wii Shop, which is in 9 days as of recording, those are two I recommend.
I hope it doesn't take me 9 days to post this.
Well, at the rate of the podcast I'm doing with CJ is, who knows? That's mostly what I've been playing. I haven't yet, but I will be playing another game for a review soon, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing.
Well, since you mentioned the WiiWare stuff, I might as well go next. Because, like you, have mostly just been playing Monster Hunter and stuff that I plan to do videos on, so I can't really talk about it here. Now, I've played plenty of good games for my WiiWareness streams, like Castlevania ReBirth, Excitebike World Rally, even though the missing online kind of gimps that a little.
Yeah.
Muscle March, Blaster Master Overdrive, Adventure Island the beginning, which I know some people didn't like, but I enjoyed enough. However, there's some bullshit on WiiWare which no one should miss. In particular, something that a lot of devs did with the WiiWare shop is they would just port mobile games onto it. Not even the good mobile games, mind you. Stuff like Space Trek.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm like,
this-
what the fuck is this?
This is a dumpster fire of a game. One of the first things you'll see is a cutscene of this dude flying through space, and they clearly just ripped stuff from the mobile game into this because the video is so compressed and so pixelated, it's hard to see what's going on sometimes. And there's not much going on. Most of the shot is just this really weird 3D model of a pilot in a spaceship. The dialogue is awful. It's fully voice acted, which is shocking. But it's not well voice acted, which is not shocking. They try to make it almost... all I can really compare it to is like an Earthworm Jim cartoon. Sort of like that same level of humor, except they have no idea what comedic timing is or what good punchlines are. So the actual gameplay of this game is horrible. it's motion controlled, so you have to have the Wii Remote on its side, like you're playing an NES game on it or something, except you twist the Wii Remote from side to side to steer your ship, and it is so goddamn sensitive you will never be able to fly in a straight line. The thrusters accelerate and decelerate way too fast. So on top of not being able to steer, you're not able to like move at the speed that you want. And it's all on a 2D plane. So your ship can never actually go up and down, you're just flying through these little valleys. The goal of most missions is to either destroy X amount of enemy ships or be rescue survivors. And these survivors are these little... They look like melted Master Chiefs. And they're just waving up at you, and some of them are so small you won't be able to see them unless you listen for the robotic voice going, "Survivor, survive," or whatever it says. I couldn't really tell because the sound balancing was so bad I couldn't tell what the robot voice was saying. So you have to fly in the general direction of the survivors and come to a complete stop, except you have to stop in just the right place, otherwise you won't tractor beam in the survivor. But when you do, you can just start flying through the environment and you'll drag them through it and they'll still be fine. By the way, survivors of what? I don't know, the game doesn't actually say. We don't know why they need rescued. We don't know what the fuck is going on. The game frequently has you fly through these narrow corridors where you're almost guaranteed to slam into the wall a couple of times. And it tries to do... You know how, like, in a bunch of the 3D Sonic games, there will be these levels where you're running toward the camera, and there's something behind you chasing you?
Yeah.
Okay, take that, spin it around so you're running away, so you can't actually see the thing that you're supposed to attack that's shooting at you. So you have to slow down and get behind it, at which point the enemy doesn't know what the fuck to do. And you can just, like, shoot them with whatever weapon you have, and the level ends.
Well then, that's a game.
I struggle to call it that.
Yeah.
And not to foreshadow anything. This is mainly for you guys, because by the time this goes up, it'll probably already happen, but the people who made this, whose name I didn't bother to learn because I don't remember the names of insignificant people, but they're gonna have another game show up on my stream soon. And you'll probably never guess this, but it's awful.
Wow. Who would have thought?
What a
Oh
twist.
man, I thought it was going to be their masterpiece.
So that's my rant on Space Trek.
Such a fun experience.
Space Trek, go fly it.
You can't fly it, the controls suck.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's true.
Space Trek, punch him.
Well, you know what, Shadow, why don't you go next?
Yay! I don't really have much to really say other than Monster Hunter World, so I'm just going through like my Steam list as to what games I recently played. And according to my Steam, the 3 games I played recently are Devil May Cry HD Collection, which I was playing earlier today, you know, just to give it a shot. And I gotta say, it runs really, really well. The cutscenes are presented in a well presented as I had hoped, but other than that, the gameplay where it matters, it's very well presented. I mean, it performs smoothly, even on my somewhat outdated gaming PC, and it controls smoothly with my Logitech controller, and I really have no complaints for it. It's like, finally, I have a very competent version of Devil May Cry 3 to play on PC, because the first version that was released on Steam was a piece of shit. So I was like, wow, I guess I will not ever buy this until the HD Collection finally came out on the modern day consoles, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Which, with that being said, I mean, you guys know how much I love Devil May Cry, so I'm not going to go into too much detail to it. The only games I played was on the HD Collection was the first and third one, because I'm very hesitant to play the second one, but I'll maybe just play like an hour of the second one just to see if it runs well. Don't expect me to ever finish it, because I do not want to go through the tedium that was that game, because it's to this day one of my most hated sequels of a franchise. Another game that I played was a indie game called Fight and Rage. It's a throwback to arcadic beat 'em ups, and it has like this odd filter where you can actually look like you're playing on a CRT display and everything. And it's very fast, very fluid, and very challenging. And it has also an anime look to it and everything. And I don't know, when I play it, I also get like somewhat of a anyone played the Battletoads arcade game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives me somewhat of a vibe of that for some reason, but and it's also pretty good because you actually get to play as like a bunch of, not only get to play as like some sort of cute anime girl, but also a bunch of like anamorphic characters and everything, and it's just like so much fun to do. And it's like this is such a great treat. I love it. Plus the artwork is so good. Well, it costs $20, but I think I got it when it was on sale. So yeah, it's a game that I recommend on Steam if you need like a decent beat 'em up to play. And the third and final game, according to Steam, that I played recently, which is sort of true. This is something of an occasional habit that I like to do. Like when I'm bored and I want to play a really good fighting game that I admire. I recently went back to playing Melty Actress Again Current Code on Steam. Still fun as always. Nothing more I can, say to expand on how awesome it is. So there's that. And with that being said, after this podcast, I will resume playing my daily Monster Hunter World and try to beat the story mode and collect all the long swords. And that is all.
Alright. Well, this would be when Unreal starts talking, but I have another thing I remembered about Space Trek.
Oh, god damn it. What?
There are like 2 indigenous species on the planet that you're flying around that can one-shot you.
What?
And the first time you will not see it coming, and just to add insult to injury, a cutscene happens where time freezes as it's coming out of the ground to destroy your ship, where your guy's going, oh, it looks like some kind of worm thing. We should steer clear of that.
Oh, did I miss that part on stream?
I
Because
think
that sounds
so.
great. Oh man, I'll go back and look at that.
Also,
I'm just imagining it. It just sounds so bad. It's amazing.
you only have 1 life, so every time you die, it's game over, and you start the level completely from the beginning.
Paul, you better look out.
Sorry. Go ahead, Unreal.
Okay. Before I start, I have to take care of something.
Oh, and another thing.
Yeah, keep going.
They pretty much expect you to play this on a classic controller, because the decelerate button is assigned to B. So if you're playing this on a Wii remote, you gotta uncomfortably have a claw finger wrapped under the controller so you can decelerate the ship. Okay, I'm for real. I'm done this time. Go ahead.
Okay, so I started playing Space Trek.
No, you didn't.
God damn it.
No, I did. Actually played a couple of games this time that isn't Monster Hunter within the span of a couple of days actually. So I finished Black for the original Xbox. You know, the game with the bullets on the cover.
I remember seeing ads for that game and having no idea what it was actually about.
It's gun porn, the video game, and you can destroy the environment, which looks cool, especially for the time. The plot is one of the worst things I've ever seen. As in, there's no... I don't even know what happened in the game.
I'm gonna look up Black and see what the story summary is.
Dude, it's like you're being interrogated for doing something bad, I guess. Kill the Russians. Guess you are off the hook now because you...
I look up Black Xbox and it just gives me Black Xbox consoles.
Well, it's also on the PlayStation 2, I believe.
Okay, I found it.
But the whole time, I just had no idea what was really going on in the plot. It's just told in the most boring way, and that it's clear that the story was not the point of the game. It's like the least amount of effort put in for that. So much so that when the game ended, I'm like, okay, so what happened? Did I just shoot things? I guess.
Can you even tell me what the main character's name was?
Only because I recently remembered. Just Keller. That's it. That's not a name that's gonna stick with me. But the whole crux of the gameplay is like you're shooting guns, you're killing Russians, you're blowing things up. That's Black in a nutshell. For the original Xbox, the game visually still kind of holds up, but the color palette does not. That's very indicative of the game's title, because you're going to be seeing not black, but grays and browns nearly the whole game. Just not the best visual, like, color-wise, but in terms of, like, texture work and everything, that still kind of holds up. They put a lot of work into the gun models, clearly. Like, that was their goal. Your health bar and ammo meter are bullets, for example. Like, they're stylized as bullets. So they knew where they put their effort. By the way, this game was made by Criterion, which they mainly made the Burnout games. So their whole destruction with, like, vehicles, it sort of translates into the whole destruction aspect of Black. The game still plays relatively well. I was playing this on the Xbox One, actually. It's backwards compatible, and it seemed like it ran very nicely. I'm pretty impressed with how Microsoft's been handling backwards compatibility. I just want to see more games for the original Xbox, like, so far, because there's a lot more available for 360 backwards compatibility, but they had more time with that. But anyways, it's Black just fills the big dumb shooter quota, and I think it does that relatively well. I had no idea what the hell I was doing the whole time. I would just, like, do objectives, do the other stuff. And then when you beat the game, you get permanent silver guns for the difficulty you played on and lower. Like, I beat the game on normal, which means you get infinite ammo. So, like, you can go nuts for the rest of the game. And I think the sound design is actually still really good. Again, it just, like, they focused on one thing and did it really well. It's like, do you love guns? Well, this game might be up the NRA's alley, I guess. Fucking, despite this being how many years old at this point?
It's from 2006.
Yeah. Oh man, the 360 was already out. Holy shit. But it's fun. It's really short. Like, it was only 8 missions, and each mission was, like, roughly a half hour with some exceptions. Like last time I played it, I only did the first 2 missions, and then the session I beat it just went from level 3 to 8 in, like, one sitting. It's not an expensive game. It's, like, dirt cheap now. If you want a big dumb shooter that's still, you know, just fun to just blast through, Black does fill that quota. But that's it. It's single player only. There's no multiplayer at all, online or off. So content is kind of lacking, but
I guess my brother got his wish then. You reviewed Black, technically.
he wanted an actual review from me?
Yes, he wanted you to review Black.
Well, this is just a podcast. I could go into more detail if I ever play Black again.
All right. Well,
if you want a better review on Black, watch Classic Gamer. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Still worst plot in the biz. That's when you know EA is involved. Oh man.
Well, as coming soon, One Roll reviews Black.
No, One Roll versus Black. Just don't. I better not mistype that, or else it's gonna be the worst video I ever made. And that'd be awful. Never, don't do that. Always proofread. So, but in terms of games with actual longevity and color, I finished my second playthrough Super Mario Odyssey. I can't recall if we had a podcast where I actually talked about Odyssey before. Because the last time I beat the game, it was before I bought my own Switch, and I played it all the way through at my friend's place. But now I finished my own file on my own Switch. It's still great. What's different this time is I got a lot more moons this time. I might still try to collect all of them. I did get all the purple coins, so got a bunch of the world exclusive outfits. I have not tried the Luigi DLC yet. I probably won't, because a lot of those are going to be really, really hard to obtain. Or they're either glitched through walls or require pixel perfect strats to reach. And I think it's just for coin payout, I guess. But Yeah, I'll probably look at that someday. I don't really have much to add to my thoughts on Odyssey, other than like I did another playthrough and it's still great. I still really enjoy it. It still comes highly recommended if you like Mario, you already bought the game, but just wanted to reassure that might be my favorite 3D Mario game. In just terms of just like gameplay, in terms of just almost everything. And it's definitely one of the Switch's greatest titles. And the last game actually beat the day before recording this podcast. It's actually in relation to WiiWare. Been buying a bunch of WiiWare and Virtual Console games before the closure myself. Got a large majority of what I had on my list. Still have some maybe piles, but one of the ones I bought early was Castlevania: The Adventure ReBirth, and I ended up beating this one just yesterday as of this recording. The game is short. It's only 6 stages, and what helps is that you actually have a level select in Adventure ReBirth. You have to like hold right in the D-pad at the start menu, but like it only level selects depending on how far you got on your normal playthrough. So there was just a couple of days where I played a couple of stages, stopped, went back, stage select from where I left off, and continued. Ended up being the game. It's definitely one of the games I would highly recommend to get on WiiWare, assuming that by the time anyone watches or listens to this, you can still get points, because like you don't have much time left as of when this will be posted. It's only $10 again. I highly recommend it. It's one of the easier Castlevania games I notice. Probably sort of up there in terms of 4 with its difficulty. It's still challenging at parts, but it wasn't really super duper tough to get through compared to many of the other installments, I'll say, for the classic Castlevania style. But it's even though it's short, highly recommended. I think it's also the last of the classic style Castlevania games that came out, and I'd say it's definitely worthy. Probably between that and Contra is probably one of the best choices for the ReBirth games out of the 3 Konami released. Yeah, that's pretty much what I played outside of Monster Hunter. I actually got to finish a couple of games to check off my backlog list, so that was nice. Has anyone else here gone through Adventure ReBirth?
I'm almost finished it. I've gotten pretty far, but I'm just not good at Castlevania, so it's gonna take.
Do you know what stage you're at?
I remember I got as far as one of the stages that Scott got in a stream.
Oh, was it the maze?
I think it was the maze. Yeah.
I just looked up a guide for that. That's the only thing.
I'm just not good at Castlevania in general, but that's the furthest I've gotten in a Castlevania game. So
yeah, I'll just say right now, like that and 4 might be the ones you might be able to actually persist through if you keep at it. I mean, Rondo of Blood is probably another one, but that's harder than the other 2.
Really. Yeah, I did also get Rondo of Blood, and I will complete it sometime. I will complete the Castlevania's games at some point, except maybe for 3, because fuck 3.
Yeah, I'm near the end of Rondo of Blood on the Virtual Console, but I beat the one that was included in Dracula X Chronicles. I beat that and the original in that PSP package, and Symphony of the Night, but that was like a while back, so no need to really bring it up now.
What was wrong with 3?
It's ball hard. Like your balls
it's
are
just hard as balls. And also, the other problem with 3 is a lot of clone consoles can't play it, though that's changed now. So
if I was gonna pick up Castlevania 3, I'm gonna look for a Famicom import, because I have a Famicom and that version is more manageable. Also sounds better too.
I was gonna say it has the better soundtrack too, because it has the better sound chip in the Famicom.
I wouldn't mind owning the NES copy, but I'll never beat it. I'll just throw in a Game Shark.
Well, I'm too ahead of you. I have an NES copy and I've beaten it.
How long did that take? Or was that Toys R Us Kids Scott talking, where he somehow managed to do it?
Yeah, this was like years ago.
Somehow. Persistence. 7-hour runs of Secret of Mana. Whatever the remake calls it.
Just get to Sypha and then you're fine. Well, that means we are all set for viewer questions.
Oh boy.
Zero, that was the most excited anyone's been for viewer questions in a while.
You can tell I'm excited.
Well, okay, we have a couple of questions. One of them from Yernt Tokes, who says, what was your favorite project you worked on? Video series, standalone video, or hell, college project? It doesn't matter.
That's a good one.
This is a tough one to answer.
I'm teetering between two things. So what? It was like college project, video project. What were the specifics? Even though I said whatever, like what were the examples?
He's talking video-wise. That's what makes sense to me.
Yeah,
So video
series.
series, standalone video, anything you worked on, college project.
Okay, series or standalone? I don't. Again, I'm like torn between two. The SNES Classic video I did for the RCG channel, with the plug and play. That one was kind of nearly therapeutic to do. I still feel like there was a lot of stuff in there where I'm just like, oh, probably should have cut this down. Why am I talking about this? Why am I like talking about things that like, you know, how many people are actually going to do this? How many people are actually going to like put their Super Nintendo controller into their NES Classic if they even got one? Like, why?
It's important to mention those things, though. I like it when videos do that. Because I
know, but like when Angel Halo actually looked over the video, he brought up that a lot of it just seemed like I didn't get to the point, and I'm like, I guess that kind of blew. But I think in terms of just the workload, it was satisfying to get done. Really, just like, hey, I'm actually finally putting something out after so long. Like I'm actually writing, I'm actually filming, working on stuff, trying to like, you know, get a product out, which is something I hadn't done in a while. And it was at least around a time where the SNES Classic was still relevant in terms of release, I guess. Like, it wasn't the most timely, but it was more timely than it could ever be, especially for like another project that we still gotta work on. But the second one, it's more like, in hindsight, something that totally could have been cut down. But my Ain't Got Games on Raccoon City just did not need to be an hour long. Could have been way shorter. Could have been way fucking shorter.
I am in no position to judge.
Like, I just feel like a lot of it, like if Angel Halo thought the SNES one didn't get to the point, then what the fuck was Raccoon City? That one is a prime example of not getting to the fucking point. At the same time, it was just almost a riot to work on because of all the dumb shit I had to deal with in the game. Like, was almost like, no, I've got to do this. Like, I don't know. There's some parts where I just still kind of smile at it because I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I love it. But then you get to the points where I'm like, why am I dragging this out? But the out of all those are my top two. The other ones I don't really have big attachments to. I also feel like I could have done the Battleship video better.
You know, that
was a product of its time.
You know, I recently rewatched that video, and honestly, it didn't feel as long as I remember.
Yeah, it was not as long as Raccoon City.
It was better paced than.
It was better paced, mainly because, unlike Raccoon City, coming from someone who really likes Resident Evil, I had to do some deep cuts on that because I'm just like, no, what the fuck's going on here? I don't care if this is non-canon. There's some dumb shit in this game that makes no sense. And it's kind of just almost a slap in the face. But Battleship was like, there's like a nothing. So that's why it was shorter. There was like a whole batch of nothing to talk about. Because that's how bland the game was. These guys eventually made Killer Instinct. Talk about a turnaround. Yeah, talk about a goddamn turnaround.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Those live action segments don't hold up though. Like in either video, I'll tell you that much. Those don't hold up.
I still like the ones in the Operation Raccoon City one.
I don't. There's some where I'm just like, some of these jokes, like some of them are okay, but some of them are just like, oh no, this was like executed poorly. I mean, I'm not talking about the fire gun. That conceptually is funny and has some of the worst video effects I put on, but that's charming. But then there's just like, I don't know. I didn't like the virus thing. at all. I'm not talking about the very end, but the one where I just kind of just inject myself and then just put out.
Just want to play video games.
That's bad. Like that just did not hit well.
I like the part where you get where Barry shoots you and revives you. And
yeah, that was fun to do. That I actually still kind of.
Oh, he'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. But I'm going on too long. But Raccoon City for comedy factor, for the most part, and SNES Classic for being probably one of the more therapeutic and concise videos I did, despite still allegedly maybe not getting to the point in that one either, but just getting that one done felt good. And that's why I still kind of admire that. I just wish I could put out a constant input after that, but that hasn't happened, as you can probably clearly see. What about you guys? I'm actually curious about what you guys think would be your favorites, at least for your own produced thing, because it's at least interesting to hear what you guys had takes on what I mentioned for mine. So I want to actually know if we would agree on your choices, for example.
This is tough for me to say because there are some things I'm proud of that I did that are from way before I met you guys. Back in when I was getting my first degree, I was in a theater program at a college called Baldwin Wallace. I basically did a little of everything in terms of being able to put on a production. And one of the things I did was I learned how to construct the individual parts of a set. And that included building a palette and then painting over it. So I constructed the entire wood frame, put it together, stretched the canvas over it, and then painted, for our project, this was a brick wall, a somewhat aged brick wall onto the canvas. And I still have that with me, and it shows up in the background of my Hindsight Miscellanea videos.
Wait a minute, that's a fake wall?
Yeah, that's just a painting.
What?
You couldn't tell?
I thought it was an actual fireplace.
What?
Well, you know what? Those are made to look good from a distance, so I guess I did an okay job.
Wait, hold on. That would make no... Now that I think about it, actually, that would have made no sense, because didn't you start filming Hindsight Miscellanea in your old place?
Did I? I don't think I did.
Oh, wait, that brick wall? You mean that brick wall painting?
Yeah, the one with all the games stacked in front of it?
Yeah, I
thought that was real!
No.
I noticed it, but didn't really comment on it. I'm just okay. I didn't even notice it was a painting. I'm just oh, nice design.
I just thought it was this weird bricked part of your house.
Thought you just had brown bricks in front of your game.
God damn it.
Okay, you mentioning these
So I should thank you guys for making me feel really good about my old college art project.
Now, you actually made me remember some things that are actually kind of related to school.
God, you're breaking my perception of reality here. I thought that was a real fucking thing.
I actually have two more things I want to add, since you did bring up your college thing. One of them was high school, the other was college, but also video related, which was, simultaneously the college thing. The high school one was a self-portrait painting, where just had to look you just have to make a grid, and then you just sketch in the sections of a picture you had of yourself, and then you slowly painted it in. And it was for this one, it was stylized, and it's just hanging up in my hallway now. And I'm still surprised. I'm wait, I did that? It's crazy how you can just see that. It's no, that looks like me from high school. What the fuck? I'm still impressed that I even did that. That took a couple of classes, but that's probably one of the more interesting high school projects we did for art class. But you guys may have shown this video to you, but when I was in video production / editing in college, you may remember this little Resident Evil tribute I made. I have it unlisted on YouTube, but It's basically where I just mess with the fixed camera angles of Resident Evil and how it affects like actual real life.
Oh yeah.
How like
Yeah,
the
I
camera
know
would rotate and you'd be like falling in one direction.
Yeah, if the camera was like sideways, I would just like fall because it would abide by gravity.
That's a great video. I love that video.
Yeah, that was fun to. That was a lot of fun to make, and like, I'll say right now, if it wasn't for X-Play, I would not have thought of that. It's both a tribute to Resident Evil and the old X-Play sketch where they had Adam Sessler get fucked by pre-rendered backgrounds and the fixed camera angles. But I think my favorite part of that whole thing, outside of rotating the whole camera to like nearly fall, I'd have tried like make that look okay though, because obviously I can't fall sideways. That was a little tough, and it was like pretty much all solo filmed during class. And then we had, but my favorite part was at the very end. Finally got the key to unlock the bathroom. The camera changes and I fall into the toilet.
I definitely remember that part.
Yeah, it's unlisted on YouTube. I'm not gonna provide a link. It is a private thing, but that was a lot of fun to make college-wise.
Oh, it's such a good video. I love it.
I know. I don't ever want it to be public. Like, I actually prefer that video over the video thing I had to make in a group in high school, which was a lot of fun to make. But rewatching the final project, I'm like, this was clear that this was just for a project instead of like, you know, like a tribute thing. It's like, oh, well, do these multiple things for the project, make sure they're included. I'm like, okay. You know, but yeah, that was probably the peak of fun for me. Great times. Was there anything else you wanted to add, SCR? Because
I guess I might as well say a video. See, this is the problem. We don't really like any mod videos.
I like your videos.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably say the Final Fantasy Adventure video.
Oh, the first of your retrospective?
Yeah, first one in the Sega Densetsu retrospect. I felt like that was the most solid one throughout.
I think, just my perspective, I think your best video is Bloody Roar 3. But not just because I'm in it. It's because of all the stuff you went over in that game.
As far as my old videos is concerned, can I just already say I hate all of them?
You've got some good ones.
Like, which ones? 'Cause
I like the
Shadow
crossover
and
you and Nightman
at least
did.
pick one.
the one with the really bad audio problems. So basically, Nightman was the one that edited it because, well, he had more free time to edit than I did, so I just provided footage and everything and helped with script. But that's more all the video making that I count that as Nightman's video rather than my own, if anything else. So
Now you know how
He's-
Blondie feels editing power plays.
And Nightman, I just gotta say, he's gotten like 100% better at making videos. Like his last video he made, much better than any of the stuff he
yeah, I
did.
actually noticed that too. So shout out to Nightman for improving and whatnot. Oh god, I remember. I think the most effort that I put in some of my videos were, of course, my Melty Blood one, which
Yeah, that's a great video.
Yeah, because I try to be as descriptive as I can, and plus, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of making really long videos. Like, if I were ever to go back to making reviews, the maximum that I would do is a 15-minute mark, because I feel that I could cover a game and get the basic information out within that time frame. Because one, I guess you could say I'd be too lazy to make one, and plus, it'd be hard to make like a 50-minute. It would be really hard to make like hour-long videos. I mean, no offense, Scott, but that's just how I feel that. My perspective, how long reviews should sort of be, and the way I view it, I don't know, short and concise and straight to the point. Okay, so the Melted Blood one, the reason I like that is he's passionate about talking about the game, because this was... Oh God, I'm not talking about Melted Blood because you all know that I love that fighting game. It's like a special fighting game to me, right?
Yeah.
So what made me really work hard on that one is because I was hoping to bring more exposure to that game, because that was basically my intention, because I really want people to actually give this awesome fighting game a shot and give it a chance, and I'm glad that it finally got released for Steam, which if I had more free time, I would love to cover the PC version, because in that review I covered the PS2 version actually again, but I figured I didn't do that game of justice by covering an outdated version. Don't get me wrong, the PS2 version's great and everything. There's nothing wrong with it, but I figured like it'd be best to do like a remake of that review, but with the most updated version on Steam. So there's that. What was another video that I somewhat enjoyed making? Well, the WiiWare mini games videos. It was because it was just so much fun. Even though it was just like take WiiWare footage and just take other my friends' videos and just convert into micro games. That was fun. I admit that was fun. I was inspired by Angel Halo's first WiiWare video when he did, so it made me to make like 3 of those stupid things.
I forgot you guys made those.
Yeah, those were pretty fun. Just because I wasn't talking or anything. Those were just like, oh, let's just take a bunch of stupid clips from all other people from my friends' videos and just combine them to micro games. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you guys be down if I made another one of that, just with your more modern stuff?
Fuck. Just do it.
All right. Well, let me just see. Let's see how the newest WiiWare game, which I heard it's being announced for Switch. Let's see if it follows the same format. Which, if it's a console game, that will be easy for me to record. And I'll just be like, okay, I'll just try to strategize like how many micro games I'll have. And then I'll just go through the pleasure of watching all your videos and see like, okay, this is a micro game, this is a micro game, and whatnot. And you'll probably will hate me for making this video and want to kill me.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. I'm just gonna switch over to this. So I was thinking about this a bit. So I'll start with like high school, college projects first. The one thing that I was proud of, and I don't know how I got away with this. I guess my teacher just didn't think to double check anything. So this is either 11th or 12th grade, we had to do a novel study, and we got to pick our own novels. I decided, and I don't know how I got away with this, I decided I was going to do my novel study on volume 1 of the Naruto manga. All I did when I presented the book to show to my teacher was I put my finger over the word graphic in the words graphic novel, and that was it. She just said it was fine. I could do it. Okay. So, I'm technically already cheating at this assignment. But then what I decided to do is, you know what? In the off chance she actually like does a Google search and finds out that this is not a novel and it's a graphic novel, I should add something to this. So what I actually ended up doing is I made an AMV, a Naruto AMV to the song Impossible Isn't a Real Word by the band Mugshot. Really cool band that unfortunately got screwed by somebody hemorrhaging money from them. So that's a thing. Met the front man years ago. Really cool guy. So as a little add on to this, we had to present, we had to like talk about the book we did, and we had to present a thing for it. And so I did that, but on top of that, I was able to borrow a projector from the library, and I showed the AMV. Now, that's kind of cringy if you think about it, but I was 16, 17, and I'd never shown a video I'd made to anyone else, and the reaction I got was fairly positive. And keep in mind, most of the kids in my class were like jocks, but but some of them were like, "What is that show? Where can I find it?" So it's funny because one of the kids from that class, like years later, worked at the same job as me, and then he's like, I was just looking something up on my phone at the time. He's like, I think it was like something about something anime related. And he's like, "Oh man, I love anime, especially Naruto. I'm caught up with it." I'm like, with the sub? Yeah. This guy was a meathead and barely knew what a computer was. So that just goes to show you. But yeah, the other thing is there was a project in college that I made, a group project where we had to talk about our college. And I don't know if it's still up on YouTube. I think it's up on YouTube somewhere. I can't remember. But we had to talk about our college, and it was like we tried to make it the most goofy shit we possibly could. Including at the very end, my one buddy just for some reason comes behind a podium, and as he comes behind the podium, you just see him in a friggin' Batman uniform. So, and him answering his cell phone, asking for them to give him back his son. It's really dumb and goofy, and I just love it. It's because I edited that whole video. And the funny thing is, that was back when I kind of knew enough about Sony Vegas I could edit videos, but didn't know how to do certain things. So I did half the video in Vegas and half the video in Movie Maker. So that was a thing. And then as for my own videos, I think the videos I'm most proud of are, first off, my Power Rangers Super Legends review. I think that one went really well. The Ultimate Fighter review, I think, went really well, even though it took 3 years to get a draft that both you and I liked, Scott, of the script. I also really like my Street Fighter Cross Mega Man review. I think I did a lot of stuff with that I'm really proud of. And just like my last one that I'll say is I'm really proud of the Halloween reviews I did back on Witches and Vampires and the one I did on Death Smiles. I think I did a good job on those ones too. It's hard for me to say because I really like the video I'm working on. Editing's my favorite part of the whole process, but I feel like one video that I should have given more time to was probably my anniversary video, Power Moves. I think the video was fine, and I think it turned out okay, but I feel like there's some things I could have expanded on, and who knows? Maybe I'll make some adjustments and make a revised version at some point, but we'll see. And that's basically it for me, other than some abridged stuff. But I'm really proud of K-On! Abridged and a couple other things. But I'm proud of our Cowboy Bebop thing. I really liked making that because we got everybody involved on the site. I think that was a really fun idea, even though some people weren't into voice acting, and I know that Blondie wasn't all too comfortable with it, but I think that it turned out good.
All right, how was my awkward role as voicing a horse to you?
Do I need pants?
Oh my god!
Why does everything I say become a goddamn meme to you guys?
I don't know. Like I'm
Admittedly, it was
just remembering
That's not even your only pants related one.
God.
Yeah, there's like a fresh pants, and then if you think of power plays, there's me getting mad at pants being an answer in Family Feud. Oh my god, like I'm the pants meme guy.
Admittedly, I wouldn't mind doing some more one-shot abridged things if you have any
Well,
ideas.
I mean, I have some ideas, so I'll keep you guys in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So that was a long-winded answer from all of us. Is there another question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully this one will be shorter. Horseplay asks, what dead IP hurts you the most knowing it will never come back?
F-Zero.
You know my answer.
I'm going to exclude myself from saying Bloody Roar because that's my answer every time one of these types of questions comes up. I'm going to say Eternal Darkness.
Zero. Mega Man's not dead, but Legends.
That's Mega Man Legends. I know. I'm happy we're getting more games, but it's just Mega Man Legends. Come on.
When do you... Okay, I'm not gonna
Time
say.
Splitters is another one.
Oh yeah, Time Splitters.
Clock Tower. I'd like to see another one of those that follows the Scissor Man story.
Stone Keep.
Oh, hey, guess what I just bought?
No.
Well, now you gotta teleport and slap the.
Don't make me come over there.
Jet Set Radio.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's true. Castlevania.
The non-Metroidvanias, Castlevanias.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. Yeah, that one hurts.
Rival Schools.
Oh my god, yes! Please, more! I would like to say I'd like to see another JoJo's All-Star Battle, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Half-Life.
Oh my god. Don't even get started. Any third sequel from Valve.
Oh,
We should just say.
here's one more. Turok. The only thing we've gotten recently are remasters of 1 and 2, but not a new game.
I can't really think of anything. I think some.
We could be here forever.
So should I just cut it off here?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, if anyone else out there wants to have a question answered on the podcast, you can ask us on the YouTube upload, on our website, or you can ask us on Facebook, facebook.com/RiverCityGamers. You can also ask us on...
Shout Engine!
I'm editing over that. And you can download our podcast there and ask a question if you want. For now, though, it's time for What's New? So, guys, any videos that you're working on, any projects you're working on, actually, any games you're looking forward to, what's on the agenda for you, Unreal?
Video, we still need to write our collaboration. This is podcast number 4 or 5 where we still haven't made any progress.
I'm tempted to say something, except I have a feeling that Zero's going to go like, God damn it, guys.
Why are you working on the video? Do it! Right!
I'm seriously at this point considering locking you two in the hotel room at Anime North and saying you can't leave till the script's written. At least a first draft.
Well, here's the thing. We already filmed everything, so we can't even film in a hotel room.
Are you going to throw us in, like, the safe in the closet?
No.
I can't fit in that.
I mean, I could also lock you out of the hotel room and take your key card.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
You can lock us in the one place SCR doesn't want to be, the swimming pool. But if I'm there, I won't write because I'll be swimming in the pool. So you can't.
Swim forever. Just keep swimming.
I'm gonna
Let me out of the pool, Zero. No, write your script or go swimming.
Oh no, the script went in the pool. Guys, we gotta start over. Oh no. But yeah, that's still no progress, but we need to. I was actually rewatching some videos and I'm like, dude, we really should fucking like write this. Like, goddamn. Upcoming games, nothing has changed again from last podcast. Like I've mentioned, Yakuza 6, etc. Those are still coming soon. Yeah, nothing new here. If you listen to it previous podcasts, same deal here. But to those that haven't, Ni no Kuni 2 and Yakuza 6 coming within the next couple of weeks.
Well, I will go next. Again, not much has changed for me, much like with Unreal. We'll just throw out Ni no Kuni 2. I'm pretty sure I did that on a previous episode, but just in case, Ni no Kuni 2. Video-wise, I have a Storming the Baseline that I'm kind of excited for. There's one part that keeps tripping me up on it, so gonna need a lot more practice with it. But hopefully I can get that done within the next week or two. And I'm also still working on that episode of $5 Gaming. The game I'm doing for it is so much longer than I thought it was actually going to be. And that just makes it so much worse. Let's see, outside of that, I have considered writing a couple words for the collaboration, which will put our completion rate at, I think, 0.01%.
Considered?
Well, it's on the agenda.
Get it done.
And outside of that, may have a couple more parts of Zangeki no Regimev over the last couple weeks. Which, by the way, I'm finally almost done posting videos from the Fearless Marathon. Holy shit.
When was your Fearless Marathon?
That was back at the end of October.
Holy fuck. How big is your Fearless backlog?
Pretty big.
I thought the Power Plays backlog was big. Ugh.
Well, also keep in mind, I don't necessarily post a Fearless video every week. It's just that for the last, 4 or 5 weeks, I've done it, every week. But I usually try to alternate it with something else. So I believe that's it for me. So, Shadow?
Busy with work and everything, so I haven't had a chance to work on a video in years. I'm just filling in here. Games I'm looking forward to playing on my free time. The same you guys said, Ni no Kuni 2 and Yakuza 6. Oh, and I would love to try out the new Gundam Breaker when it comes out here. Not sure if it's going to be as good as Gundam Breaker 3, which was only released in Japan. The only projects that I'd like to do in my off time are occasionally just building Gundam model kits, which I'm not going to go into detail of that, so I'll just build some of those in my off time. But let's just say I have nothing video wise to say, and that's all for me.
All right, well, Zero.
Okay, so I'll try to make this short. I have the first video of a new series I'm working on. I've written the script for it finally. I'm going to do the voiceover soon here, and then I'm going to get that going. It just to let you know, it is going back to the. It's going to be a figure series, similar to Amiibo Time and Henshin Time. So that's happening. I have a new podcast that I'm working on with my friend Canadian Jutsu. The first episode I'm nearly done editing it. I'm just doing the graphics and a few other things like special effects for it. Yeah, I know, special effects for a podcast, but it's just for the video portion. And I've got to make like some intro stuff and whatnot. So yeah, so that's coming. As for videos, I have an April Fool's video in the works. I've gotten all the footage for it. I just need to write the script and film the stuff and do the voiceover, and then of course edit it all together. So I'm going to be spending most of my time working on that. New episodes of Mega Man The Abridged Games are coming. There is one in the works. I just need to finish it. I'm in the editing process of doing the lip sync right now. So once I have that taken care of, that'll be out. It's actually weeks late because I want to have one out a month, but I knew that it was going to be one of those things that's lower priority on my list of things to do. So don't expect it soon. Another abridged project is in the works that I have all the stuff I need. I just need to edit it now. So that's happening. And in terms of like Let's Plays and streaming and stuff, I'm still streaming 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. So come back to my Twitch and see that. And I think it's also mirrored on the RiverCityGamers Twitch page. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. I have Let's Play stuff in the works. I've slowed down a little bit because there's been a lot happening in my life, so I had to cut down the normal weekly stuff more than I'd like, but I'm trying to ramp it back up again. And I have at least 2 con videos that I'm editing, so I have a lot going on. So yeah, SCR, Unreal, get your shit done.
I am.
No, I mean your crossover. Get it done.
I'm not.
Get it done.
No.
Yes.
Lock us in the swimming pool, and then we'll consider.
Lock you in the swimming pool. How long can you last with the smell of chlorine and without eating?
Drink the chlorine. It'll get me out of writing.
Drink the chlorine. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I probably forgot something, but yeah, I have too much shit going on.
Right, well, one thing we can get done is this podcast. So once again, I'm SCXCR.
I am Unreal.
I am Shadow.
And I'm Zeromaster. Sorry, I didn't want to be rude, Shadow.
Okay. It's fine.
The only thing I'm going to be rude about is telling these two to edit their damn video.
Nope. Lock us up in the pool.